For years after Vanessa Clark and I broke up, we ran into each other at our class reunion. Someone suggested truth or dare. Vanessa picked truth. Someone asked her, "What's the smartest thing you ever did in a relationship?" She looked right at me with this smirk on her face. Getting my ex to pay off my $700,000 in debt, then dumping him. Once I found someone richer, everyone probably expected me to lose it. I just smiled and told them to keep playing. When it was my turn, they asked, "Did you ever hide anything from your ex?" "Yeah, what was it?" I smiled. "I'm actually the richest man in the country's son." After a second of dead silence, everyone cracked up. "Liam, dude, have you been watching too many of those CEO drama shorts while delivering food? Getting a little delusional. Seriously, man, stop pretending to be rich. You're literally still wearing your delivery uniform." I looked down at my Armani casual wear, and the custom AGV helmet next to me. Okay, I kind of did look like a delivery guy. Before I could say anything, Vanessa jumped in. "Liam, we broke up 4 years ago. Why are you still being so fake? This is supposed to be a chill reunion. You don't need to show off. Just be real." I leaned back in my chair and looked at her. "I am being real. I actually am the richest man's son. You think you could have booked this VIP suite without my connections? Honestly, I wasn't even planning to come. I didn't want to see Vanessa, and I don't really hang with these people anymore anyway. But my buddy called me like 28 times begging me to show up, that Vanessa wouldn't be there. And everyone agreed not to talk about work or money, just catch up. But not only did Vanessa show up, she was being totally shameless about flaunting herself. A gold digger, playing dress up as high society. Pathetic. And she wouldn't leave me alone. Liam, there's a limit to bullshitting. My husband booked this suite with his VIP status. What's that got to do with you? With that delivery outfit? If you weren't riding our coattails, you wouldn't even qualify to eat here." Everyone laughed and looked at me like I was trash. I just waved it off. "So I should be thanking you." Vanessa pointed at the food and wine on the table. "Obviously, without me, could you afford this food, this wine?" I looked up at her slowly. "Vanessa, you really haven't seen much, have you? This food? My housekeeper wouldn't even eat this stuff." "I definitely wouldn't." That set off another round of laughter. "Liam, please stop. You're a nobody. Without Vanessa, you couldn't even get past the front door, right? If Vanessa hadn't specifically asked for you to be invited, I wouldn't have even bothered calling. Just apologize to Vanessa, and maybe you can at least drink some of this good wine." The mockery kept coming, but I didn't care. Everything I said was true. If I wasn't trying to save these losers some face, I would have told them Pine Mountain Banquet was my property. Vanessa walked up to me with a wine glass. "Want to know why I dumped you guys without money? Need to stop showing off. Drink this wine and I'll forget what just happened." I stood up and looked her in the eye. "Vanessa, I was being polite, but you actually think I'm still that broke, lovesick kid from 4 years ago?" I turned toward the door. "Waiter, bring me the wine list. I'm paying for everyone tonight." A guy in a suit walked in and stood in front of me respectfully. Lucas Miller, the manager of Pine Mountain Banquet. I'd met him once when I arranged the suite. I kept my eyes on Vanessa. "Bring me your secret menu and make everything on it, and 2 bottles of your best wine." Lucas nodded and left. Everyone froze, including Vanessa. Then she burst out laughing. "And you say you're not showing off? My husband and I have been here at least 10 times. There's no secret menu. Could you at least practice your lies first?" Everyone stared at me, waiting to see me get embarrassed. In their eyes, I was still the poor guy Vanessa heartlessly dumped. Back then I fell out with my dad to marry her. Broke and desperate, I delivered food for a living. After I paid off her $700,000 in debt, she hooked up with some rich kid named Sebastian Ashford. Heartbroken, I went home to take over the family business and swore I'd never see Vanessa Clark again. But here she was at this reunion, not only showing up when she promised not to, she was publicly humiliating me, rubbing it in everyone's face that I paid off her loans. I couldn't let this slide. Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean you're important enough to get it. I'd shut up if I were you. Save yourself the embarrassment when the food comes. The suite door opened. Dozens of dishes were brought in. As everyone stared, Lucas held up 2 bottles of limited edition Hennessy. "Our boss says everyone here is an honored guest. Tonight's meal is on the house." I nodded. Smart move by the owner of Pine Mountain Banquet. 1 free meal to get on my good side. Good business. Thank the boss for his kindness. Tell him Vanessa cut me off. "Liam, it's not your place to speak. The boss is obviously doing this for my Sebastian. Stop pretending and thanking people for us." She pushed me aside and walked up to Lucas. "I thank Mr. Chase on my husband's behalf. When Sebastian finishes his work, we'll definitely visit Mr. Chase together." She downed her glass while Lucas looked confused. He opened his mouth, but I stopped him with a look. I grabbed my jacket. "I've got stuff to do. Enjoy your meal. Oh, next time you have a reunion like this, don't invite me." I couldn't stay any longer. Vanessa was making me sick, but I was too lazy to expose her. I consider this meal my final gift. As I walked past her, she grabbed me. "Liam, aren't you forgetting something?" "What? Pay for your meal?" I scratched my ear. "Vanessa, is your brain broken? They just said it's free. What am I paying for?" She laughed coldly, her eyes full of contempt. "It's free because my husband has connections. What's that got to do with you? I decide who I'm treating." She ripped down the bill from the door. "This meal cost $800,000 total. 20 people, so $40,000 each. I'm paying for everyone except you. $40,000 cash or card." Lucas stepped forward. "Miss, tonight's bill." I pulled Lucas back and leaned close to Vanessa. "So you're really gonna do this?" She nodded. "That's right. I was gonna let you enjoy a nice meal for old time's sake, but you had to push it. So I'll teach you a lesson today and show you exactly what you are." I didn't get angry. I laughed. "Sorry, but unlike you, I know exactly what I am. You're the one who doesn't know where you stand." Everyone at the table jumped in. "Liam, you're addicted to pretending," looking down on Vanessa. "If you were so rich, why would she dump a loser like you, right? Vanessa's husband is worth hundreds of millions. Do all your assets combined even match what's after his decimal point? This guy's delusional. If he pays, nobody lend him money." I looked around the room. Everyone's pretty funny. But I don't just look down on Vanessa. I look down on all of you because everyone here is trash. I'm not usually social, but I understand basic manners. From the moment I sat down, these so-called classmates hadn't talked about friendship once, just kissing up to Vanessa. With classmates like this, why should I be nice? My words made everyone turn on me. Even my closest friends stood up angrily, slamming the table. Liam, someone like you doesn't deserve to eat with us. Pay your bill and get out. As the mockery grew louder, Vanessa smiled bigger. She picked up a bottle of limited edition Hennessy and poured 10 full glasses. Liam, I know it's hard for a delivery guy to come up with 40 grand for old time's sake. I'll help you out. She put her high heel on a chair and pointed at the glasses. You have 2 choices. 1, kneel and lick my foot while admitting you're worthless. 2, chug all 10 glasses, then slap yourself 10 times. Pick one and do it, and I'll pay you $40,000. Deal. The suite filled with whistles and applause. They all wanted to see me humiliated, wanted to see me submit to Vanessa like a dog, just like 4 years ago. I tried to leave us both some dignity, but Vanessa and these people kept pushing. A gold digger living off men, pretending to be classy. Ridiculous. 10 minutes? What? I ignored Vanessa and looked at Lucas. Lucas checked his phone and bowed to me. Mr. Foster, I've notified the owner. He says he'll be here in 10 minutes. With Sebastian Ashford to apologize to you. Oh, and he said he's willing to trade that 100-acre plot in the suburbs for Vanessa Clark's life. For 3 seconds nobody spoke. Then Vanessa laughed. Lucas, you really expect us to believe that? Lucas didn't laugh. He looked at her as though she just said something incredibly stupid. Miss Clark, I don't think you understand. Vanessa folded her arms. Understand what? Lucas glanced at me. Mr. Foster owns Pine Mountain Banquet. The room went completely still. Someone's wine glass slipped from their hand and shattered against the floor. Vanessa's smile disappeared. What? Lucas continued calmly. He also owns the private club next door, the hotel attached to this property, and the development company that purchased this entire mountain 2 years ago. Nobody moved. I sighed. Lucas, that's enough. But he wasn't finished. He specifically instructed us to keep tonight's reunion private, because he didn't want anyone knowing his identity. My former friend Marcus stared at me. Wait. He looked at my Armani jacket, then at the helmet, then at the suite, then back at me. You actually own this place? I shrugged. Technically my family does. I took over the hospitality division last year. Vanessa's face had gone pale. That's impossible. The suite doors opened. A man in an immaculate black suit walked in. Sebastian Ashford. The same Sebastian who had stolen Vanessa from me 4 years ago. The same man everyone had spent the evening praising. Behind him came an older man with silver hair. My father. The room erupted. Mr. Foster. That's Mr. Ethan Foster. Wait, Foster Holdings? The Foster family? Everyone suddenly knew exactly who I was. My father ignored them. He walked straight toward me. Son. I nodded. Dad. He looked around the room. Then at Vanessa. Then at the 10 glasses she'd lined up for me. His expression changed. What happened? Nobody answered. Lucas quietly explained everything. My father listened without interrupting. When he finished, Dad looked at Vanessa. You demanded $40,000 from my son? Vanessa swallowed. I didn't know who he was. Dad's eyebrows rose. That makes it worse. Sebastian stepped forward. Mr. Foster, please. This is a misunderstanding. Dad turned toward him. Are you Sebastian Ashford? Yes, sir. The man who married Vanessa Clark? Sebastian hesitated. Yes. Dad nodded. Then you should know something. Sebastian's face tightened. My son didn't need to pay off Vanessa's debt 4 years ago. Vanessa stared at him. What? Dad smiled faintly. She owed $700,000 because she had already accumulated debt before dating my son. Liam paid it because he wanted to marry her. He paused. Afterward, he came home and apologized to me. Vanessa's lips parted. He came home. I laughed. Of course I did. I looked at her. You thought I stayed broke after we broke up? Vanessa couldn't answer. Dad continued. I offered Liam a position in the company immediately. He refused at first. Everyone looked shocked. He wanted to build himself back up without using his family name. I shrugged. So I delivered food for a while. Marcus looked horrified. You were actually choosing to do that? Yeah. I smiled. It was surprisingly peaceful. Then I looked at Vanessa. Until you made it miserable. Her eyes reddened. Liam. I held up a hand. Don't. She stopped. Sebastian suddenly grabbed her wrist. Vanessa, we're leaving. She pulled away. No. She stared at me. I'm not leaving. I raised an eyebrow. Why? Her voice trembled. Because I know you. I almost laughed. No, Vanessa. I stepped closer. You knew the version of me who would have forgiven you. I pointed toward the door. That guy doesn't exist anymore. Sebastian looked furious. You think having money makes you better than everyone? No. I smiled. That's the funny part. I looked around the room. I never needed money to know I was better than people who humiliate someone for entertainment. Nobody spoke. Then my father pulled out his phone. Liam. Yeah. I just received confirmation from the board. He smiled. The Ashford Group's acquisition request was rejected. Sebastian froze. What? Dad looked directly at him. Your company applied for a $200 million financing partnership with Foster Holdings last month. Sebastian's face drained. Mr. Foster, please. Rejected. But why? Dad looked at me. My son said no. Sebastian turned toward me. I shrugged. Sorry. Vanessa stared at Sebastian. You said your company was doing fine. He didn't answer. Dad continued. And that suburban property? Lucas stepped forward. The 100-acre development site is worth approximately $180 million. Everyone gasped. Dad nodded. Liam mentioned he'd be willing to trade it. Vanessa looked at me. For me. I smiled. Don't flatter yourself. I glanced at Lucas. Tell Dad I'll pass. Lucas nodded. Understood. My father smiled. Good choice. Vanessa's eyes filled with panic. Liam, please. I grabbed my jacket. She followed me. Please wait. I turned around. For the first time all night, I didn't see the arrogant woman from 4 years ago. I saw someone terrified of losing everything. And somehow, that made me feel nothing but amused. You know what your biggest mistake was? She shook her head. You thought I became successful because you left me. I smiled. I became successful because you did. Then I walked out. Behind me, the room exploded into chaos. Sebastian was demanding answers. My former classmates were scrambling to apologize. Vanessa was crying. And Lucas was already instructing the staff to remove the bill sheet created. My phone buzzed. A message from my father. Dinner tomorrow? I typed back, sure. But pick somewhere better than Pine Mountain. 3 dots appeared. Then, son, you own the best restaurants in the country. I laughed. Maybe it was time I stopped pretending to be a nobody.